everybody! Did you know that the most common reason for people to sign up for a coaching call with me is because their diet has stopped or it has slowed to a little crawl? And so today I'm going to give you some tips, 3 of them, to help you kind of troubleshoot what could be going on with your diet. So first of all, I have to say, please do not panic. One thing that we tend to do when we stop losing weight or it's starting to really slow is we tend to diet harder. Okay, so that means like if you have been kind of watching your calories and eating healthy food, you cut more calories. If you have been eating low carb, you cut more carbs, like take all the carbs out. Or maybe you've been intermittent fasting and so you're gonna like make that fasting window even longer. So I call that dieting harder. And it is the equivalent of getting into your car, knowing that the battery is dead, but trying to turn the key harder, thinking that maybe that will make it start, and it doesn't work. It just never works. So one thing that I want you to remember is that slow fat loss is permanent fat loss. When it comes off all of the sudden, it also comes back with a vengeance. Some people call it with interest. Anyway, so first thing we do is don't panic and allow that slow fat loss because it will work out in your favor. Okay, now secondly, we're going to look at your actual nutrition, like what have you been eating, okay? And if you've been eating and sticking kind of with your same diet plan for, I don't know, like 4 to 6 months, the one that was like working, and then not so much anymore, let's just switch it up a little bit. Your body gets very used to the things you do, and I hate to use the word adaptation because it's used all the time and in very odd ways, but it does get very used to what you're doing. Just like I don't have to remember how to drive every time I get into my car, which thankfully I don't. But same with what you eat. Your body gets very used to it, gets very used to the amount of energy that you bring in, gets very used to the amount of energy that you expend. So let's just try to shift that up a little bit. If you've been watching, your carbs or watching calories, just switch it up. We here at Beyond 40, we love carb cycling. And me personally, on top of the carb cycling, I like to watch my nutrient pairing, which means I try to not eat carbs with fat. So I'll look at my whole plate, and this is what I suggest to all of my coaching clients. Look at your plate. Where are your carbs, where are your fats, and where are your proteins? And if you have an abundance of carbs, take out the fats. If you have a high fat protein or you wanted to roast those vegetables with a little bit of olive oil, just take out the carbs. So look at that plate, see where your carbs, your proteins, and your fats are. And if you have fats, remove the carbs. If you have carbs, remove the fats. Now, most foods, a lot of foods, have a combination of nutrients in it, so we don't freak out over them. But if one is more strongly in one direction, that's the category that we put it in. Lastly, I'd like to look at your exercise because this is a big deal and we need to have it in there. And we love to count activity as exercise. And when you get older, like 40s, 50s, 60s, and even beyond, your body has already begun to change metabolically because starting in your mid to late 30s, your muscle mass starts to decline just as you age without you even having to try. So in order for you to keep it up, which is your most metabolic tissue, and you will keep your metabolism revving on fire when you have a nice strong muscle base. So we really, really, really want to make sure that we're doing that. So if most of your exercise is more like activity, I would say walking, running, running kind of falls under the way too much cardio. Cut it back, okay? If you're doing a bunch of hard HIIT workouts, cut it back, slow it down, let your body rest, and just take a minute. Because often when our results have kind of slowed or stopped, our body just needs a minute to reset, regroup, and get kind of, back together and just a little bit of peace. Anyway, so with the exercise, I would love to see you pull it back because all of those things are great for you and you should do them. And especially if you're like me, I love to run. I love to do hard HIIT workouts. I feel so good and I feel so strong, but they're not good for me to do every day. And in order for me to maintain the body that I like, it doesn't fit in there every single day. But hitting those weights and keeping that strong muscle mass on there is a fantastic solution, and that will actually change you metabolically, which will make any diet that you choose way easier for you to be able to see results. And here's the best example. I have a coaching client that I've been coaching now for probably about 9 months. It took me 7 of those months to convince her to do some resistance training. And she says, I don't have time, I don't like it, I don't know what to do. And when you train people virtually, you can't be there, to help them with their form. And trust me, those little tiny tweaks can be very important. So anyway, finally we got her to do a little bit of resistance training, and within 3 weeks, she was down a size and could already see the definition coming in. So remember, if your diet has stopped, we're gonna get you to, number 1, don't panic. Number 2, kind of redo that nutrition. And number 3, add some resistance training in. That's it for now. I'll see you later. Bye.